Coming up, an earthquake in Mexico is felt all the way in California. Aftershocks are still shaking the West Coast. We've got a full report.
And ridership is on the rise. Metro has its largest number since President Obama was inaugurated, and it's all because of cherry blossoms and sports. A live report straight ahead. District Wire News starts right now. Good afternoon, I'm Claire Scattergood.
And I'm Farah Zermane. Aftershocks are still rattling the Pacific coast after Sunday afternoon's earthquake. The quake shook the ground from Los Angeles to Tijuana. 2 people are dead and 100 injured after one of the strongest earthquakes in the region's history. Sunday's quake struck the U.S.-Mexico border near Baja California, and Caltech seismologists say residents should brace for more.
Our largest aftershock would be 6.0. And this has been a pretty productive sequence. We've already seen lots of 4s. I would think that a 6 in the next few days is reasonably likely.
Authorities closed downtown Mexicali, the epicenter of the quake. In San Diego, there are reports of shattered windows and broken pipes. The earthquake occurred on a fault that had been inactive for more than a century. Stronger infrastructure prevented the quake from becoming the next Haiti.
It's about the same size. It's a little bigger than the Haiti earthquake, and it's also a strike-slip earthquake. But the population is much lower in Mexico than it was in Port-au-Prince.
Like Haiti, scientists expect strong aftershocks in the days to come.
115 Chinese coal miners were rescued this morning. Their coal mine flooded more than a week ago. Rescuers were finally able to reach them today. More than 30 coal miners are still trapped inside. 200 people are working around the clock to save the remaining miners. Mine accidents are common in China, and the government will start a 2-month safety inspection campaign today.
This past year has been full of problems for the D.C. Metro, but they had their second highest ridership this weekend. Reporter Don Michael Mendoza is in the studio with an explanation why.
Thanks, Farah. The cherry blossoms and the capitals brought in over 800,000 people, and locals definitely noticed the drastic change in their daily routine.
The D.C. Metro had its second highest ridership record since the Obama inauguration in January of 2009. But it didn't get to this milestone without its share of technical glitches and a horrific train accident last summer. There is no shortage of dissatisfied customers, but this past weekend Metro was the most popular option for residents and visitors alike.
Definitely, I think ridership was up this weekend, given Cherry Blossom Festival and so forth. That's people's means of transportation. A lot of people rely on that. It's better than downtown traffic and parking, and so you're not going to get people who are just going to boycott it.
Some riders strongly attribute the increase to special circumstances.
Yeah, I think it's probably the events of the weekend. I mean, there are a couple of events that caused the second highest ridership. I mean, I rode on the day of the Obama administration, inauguration, so when things are happening and it doesn't make sense to drive, a lot of people take the metro, but I think that's probably what happened.
But it isn't as bad as it could be, so I'm thankful for that.
The D.C. Metro Authority is actively working on improvements to satisfy customer complaints.
Just when customers will finally be satisfied is something that can't easily be predicted. Back to you, Farah.
A Maryland middle school is taking a stand against bullies. Urbana Middle School in Frederick County created an anti-bullying program that includes training for teachers and a weekly class for students. The class focuses on respecting others and taking responsibility as a bystander. The program also focuses on social media and cyberbullying. A recent study shows that 1/3 of middle school students feel they've been bullied.
The American University Student Conduct Code is facing some additions and revisions. The revised code would include definitions for specific terms of sexual assault. The new code would also outline the different charges students could receive. Lauren Bernhard has more.
Sexual assault is possibly getting a new definition under American University's Student Conduct Code. A proposal outlining revisions to the sexual assault section of the code was submitted to Vice President of Campus Life, Gail Hansen. A policy subgroup of the Sexual Assault Working Group, a group of AU students, and a group of faculty and staff all worked on the proposal. Some AU students are hoping the revisions are accepted because of past experiences and safety concerns.
Actually, in high school, I was a victim of stalking, and I think that that's a really serious issue that can definitely happen more often on a college campus.
Stalking is just one of the additions to the sexual assault section of the Student Conduct Code. The new code aims to differentiate between sexual assault, harassment, sexual harassment, and intimidation. Some students hope that by differentiating between these four, questionable actions will stop before they turn into something more.
I think so, because it'll stop it before it gets to that point. Like if someone starts off stalking or kind of harassing someone without like the sexual part, and this will kind of, get them in trouble for doing that, it'll keep it from escalating, getting worse.
The revisions to the AU Student Conduct Code are currently under active review. According to a letter from Hansen and Provost Scott Bass, approval for the revisions is expected before the semester ends. I'm Lauren Bernhardt for District Wire News.
Tonight, AU will host a forum for students to discuss the controversial column that appeared in last week's Eagle. The column slammed feminists and caused an uproar on campus from dozens of student groups. The controversy made national news and sparked a debate about free speech and hate speech. Professor John Watson of the School of Communications will moderate the discussion.
American University is taking another step forward in breaking down gender barriers. Students are being offered more gender-neutral housing options for the coming school year. Erica Crable has the story.
Warm weather means more campus tours around American University. The tour is the same, but these prospective students are being given a new kind of housing option for the 2010 to 2011 academic year: gender-neutral housing. AU will expand their non-discriminatory housing to the apartments they rent out from the Berkshire. AU has offered co-ed housing to students in Centennial and Nebraska Hall since 2009, but never in the university-owned Berkshire apartments. Trisha Lee Friedman shares a co-ed apartment in Nebraska Hall.
If you're fine beforehand knowing that you're going to get into an apartment or into a Centennial suite, and you know that it is going to be neutral, you might get a guy or you might get a girl, by all means, I think that's perfectly fine. As long as you know what you're going into, you're good.
Co-ed housing hasn't stirred up much controversy, and many students don't expect next year's gender-neutral apartments to either.
I think it's overall really good, a great thing, because AU has a really active and, from what I know, pretty sizable GLBTA community. So I just think that since they're so active, it makes sense to have allow that opportunity.
For some students, finding the right roommate is strictly a matter of personality.
I don't think it matters what gender you are. If you don't know how to clean a room, you don't know how to clean a room or common space.
Students will have the option to live in traditional same-sex dorms on campus. The same-sex floors and north side dorms are also still an option. Erica Crable, District Wire.
Monday kicks off AU's annual International Week. Free activities celebrating different cultures and AU's diversity are open all over campus. The week begins today with Cuban Youth Day. Festivities include a movie night and a trivia night. Celebrations end on Saturday at 5 p.m. with a festival on the quad. For a schedule of events, visit the AU website or the Student Activities Office. Coming up on District Wire, soon AU's medical records will be online. What that could mean for you and your health. We've got a full report.
And the Discovery Shuttle takes off for space. We'll have the story on that and more next.